Likely Lavender Queen, a memoir of unexpected blossoming, which could be all kinds of things.
Exactly.
And she's going to have some for sale over here at the end of her presentation, and says she'd be glad to sign them for you. She and her husband, Robb Kendrick, founded the Hill Country Lavender Farm near Blanco, turning 4.5 challenging acres, into fields of lavender. In addition to lavender farming, Jeannie is a magazine writer with articles appearing in such magazines as National Geographic, Texas Monthly, the Smithsonian, Audubon, and Travel Leisure. She's also a contributing editor for Allure, Ladies' Home Journal, and parenting magazines. Following her talk, she'll be available to sign books, yada, yada, yada. Jeannie Ralston.
Thank you. This is on. Wow, this is my first stop on my book tour. This is the first place the book is for sale in the nation, because it's officially not coming out until Tuesday, but they made special allowances for San Antonio. I said, you have to. This is my home country. These are my people. But so the book is one reason I'm here, but I know all of you are interested in gardening, so we're going to talk about lavender gardening, and then we can talk about the book too if anybody's interested, because it's all in the book. The whole story's in the book. You just have to. There's other things too, about life and so forth. But how many people here have tried to grow lavender? How many have succeeded?
Oh, we were successful for a while.
For a while. Well, I have to explain that I didn't get into lavender farming because I was a big gardener. It was an idea of my husband's to do this. And I have to say, I really wasn't a good gardener before I started growing lavender, which should be encouraging to you, because I'm sure you're more serious than I ever was at this when I started. But I'll just tell you a little bit of how we got into it, and then we can talk about some of the specifics on growing. My husband is a National Geographic photographer, and we were over in Provence. This was in '97. And he was photographing a story about perfume making around the world. And so he was doing the lavender harvest in the Blanco plateau in southern France. I mean, gorgeous, as you can imagine. Maybe some of you have been there. And he started looking around, thinking, the terrain looks a lot like the Hill Country, and it was hot, and he thought, well, the heat is pretty much like the Hill Country. Then he found some scorpions. He said, well, this is really like the Hill Country, because there's even scorpion. And so we got home, and he started thinking, and he decided he wanted to start a lavender farm. At the time, I had a 3-month-old, and I was like, I have enough to do. I don't really need to get into farming. But he persisted and tried different varieties of lavender in Blanco. This is in Blanco. He tried different varieties to see which ones would do the best. And it was through the summer of '98, which I remember it being extremely hot, but maybe they all kind of run together in my mind. But he tried about 7, and there was one variety that made it through the summer beautifully, even with all the heat, and even though it was planted on the west, to get the west sun, and it was the Provence variety, and that's what they were growing mostly in southern France, as a matter of fact, coincidentally. And so he started looking around to find somebody who could sell him this Provence variety in large numbers, and there wasn't really anybody doing it in large numbers at that time, but he convinced a greenhouse to do it, to give him 2,000 lavender plants. So in March of '99, we planted 2,000 lavender plants. At that point, I just had a week after I'd had my second child, and everybody was supposed to come out to visit me and the baby, and they came out to plant. They were like, "Oh, your baby's really cute, but here, I'm going to go plant some lavender now," because it was so exciting. And lo and behold, those plants did beautifully. I just thought my husband hadn't done enough research. I was worried that he travels so much, going off from National Geographic here and there. It was going to be one more thing for me to take care of, and I had my hands full. But he had just insisted that he had talked to the French farmers, and they had said, if you baby it too much, that's the worst thing for it. So it's not a high maintenance plant. He kept telling me this. And you know, Jeannie, really, there's nothing much for you to do. But after 2 years, I kind of stayed away from it for 2 years, let him do his thing, and it didn't seem to be taking up too much time. He, you know, watered it very infrequently, which he had told that not to do too much water. And in the it was the spring of 2001, so it's about 2 years it takes, at least here, to get a really good bloom, or your mature, you know, full bloom. Spring of 2001, my husband's leaving for another geographic assignment, and we're looking out into the front field, and there are all these lavender blooms. And so guess what happened? This was my turn. He's going off. I took over against my better judgment, and it bloomed beautifully. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous bloom, like 300 to 400 blooms per plant. And the purple was a little bit lighter than the purple in Provence of the same plant, but I'm sure that has to do with soil and, you know, other kind of mysterious factors. And so we had to do something with that beautiful lavender. So we started, I thought, well, we'll make money on it, we'll go sell it to Central Market. So we decided to bring it into Central Market and sell it as cut flowers. That was the first idea for it. And, you know, but I realized soon that we could cut and cut and cut to make these bunches, and it looked like we'd never even cut because each bush was so full. And then I remembered how I felt back in France when I had seen those gorgeous lavender fields. You know, you want to dive into them. They're so, you know, every sense is kind of activated by lavender, a big lavender field. So I thought, you know what? This is too beautiful to keep to ourselves. I'm going to open this farm up, and let people come. And, you know, we just did it the most basic way that first season. A little poster, the Natural Gardener in Austin, and a few Amy's Ice Cream maybe down here in San Antonio in the quarry or something. And we got some people coming in and let them cut their own lavender. And, you know, people, I didn't even know the word agritourism at the time, but that's actually what we were doing, but without my knowing. Later, of course, I figured it out. But, people they would come and they would cut their own bunches, and then we tried to think of other products to sell, and we'd sell a few plants and things like that. And, you know, there was just seat of the pants kind of operation. But over the years, each season, you know, lavender mainly blooms in Texas from mid-May through late June, and so every season we got a little more sophisticated. We had, instead of one table of products, or at another table of products, we'd add some soap, and we'd add some sachets, and then, you know, we got little signs on how to cut the lavender, and then we do the plants, and we tell people little notices on how to grow lavender and take care of it. And then we built a store, we got a credit card machine, and in the end, we had 62 lavender-related products, and about anything lavender you can think of. And we had the last year that we were at our original site for the farm, we had 17,000 people in a 7-week period. So it became something else entirely. And one of the things that we did after the first season, we started having seminars for people who wanted to grow, other people who wanted to grow lavender, who wanted to farm it, because we just felt like that, you know, it was, well, first of all, it wasn't our big main source of income, so it wasn't like we were territorial about it or anything. Plus, we also realized that if it was doing well for us, it would probably do well for other people, and there would be, it'd be more, the more farms, the more people would identify Texas as a lavender growing place. And there'd be more people attracted to come, and there'd just be a lot of benefits if there were more farms. So I have now given, I think, 11 lavender growing seminars since the first one was 2002, and I'm actually giving another one in June up at the farm. But it is really I think it's a great plant for Texas. Maybe one of the main reasons is it doesn't require a lot of water, and deer don't like it. I mean, those are two like bing, bing, bing qualities. So the main mistake that people make with lavender is giving it too much water. That is the number one thing that kills it. And as I'm going to borrow a phrase from somebody that lavender just doesn't like its feet wet. But so the key to if you're growing it in your garden, there's some key things. One is choosing a variety that will do well here. There's so many different varieties. As I was walking around earlier and I saw, I think it's Nature's Gate, or is it Nature's Farm or something? There's a booth here that's selling lavender, and they have about 6 or 7 varieties just here. And we always loved the Provence, and to the Provence, a close relative of Provence is the Grosso. And Grosso grows, the purple's a little darker, you know, the